I also have a Ghost of Ohio tattoo, you guys. Okay, this is gonna be awkward. There we go. It's my biggest piece and my most colorful.
I love it. What is up, BVB Army? Welcome back to our channel, BVB Army Hearts and Hearts. I am Ruth.
And I'm Nicole.
Okay, question to the BVB Army. What did we dress up as? If you haven't read the title. Yes, if you clicked on this video, you are correct. We are going to talk about in this episode the one and only, the comic book, Andy's very first comic book that was ever produced, The Ghost of Ohio.
If you do not have a purchase of this copy, we highly recommend getting yourself one, for it is a thrilling read.
It is. I just reread it and I forgot how cool it was.
No, when's the last time you read this comic book?
I don't want to say. It's been a
No,
while.
I'll be honest with you myself.
Second year of teaching.
So what year was that?
2019 or something. Yeah.
We're on the same page
Okay.
because the comic book was released in 2019. That is the last time I also read the comic book.
Okay.
I read it like 3 times that year and then set it on the shelf.
Okay, same. Okay. Okay. I mean, I did read it. I enjoyed it. And then like you said, put it on a shelf. There you go.
It's one of those things. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that comic book. Like I know how it goes, but then when it's been this long, definitely had to reread for this episode because I was like, oh crap.
I will say it's a very fast read, a lot of information, but it's a really cool read. So again, as like Nicole said, if you haven't gotten it, purchase it. And yes, we did
Yeah.
copy the amazing cover art of the Ghost of Ohio.
Yes, great read. Once again, yeah, highly recommend. It blends elements of horror and mystery. So if that is your jam, and obviously if Blackville Brides and Andy is your jam, get the comic book.
Yes. I know we're kind of like switching it up now since I know some of us like, why aren't you guys talking about the album first, then the comic? Trust me, guys, we got it planned. It is spooky month, and we had to do this amazing look again. It's some time, time has come.
We cannot talk about the Ghost of Ohio and not do the Ghost of Ohio makeup. That would be a sin.
Okay. I want to point out this is a little off the tracks, but can we just point out the makeup looks and our experience and the funny story about our make when it came out to the Ghost of Ohio when it came to the look.
Like our very first experience
First
leading
time
into
doing it.
now.
Yeah, first time because I will admit, guys, this is my third time doing this makeup.
But this is your third time? I thought it was only your second. Girl. Okay, you go first.
Okay, I will go first. So I do remember I attempted this look for the very first time. That was before the comic book was even shipped out, before we even got the pages, before I had it physically in my hand. All that came out was a pre-order, and we only got this image to work on when it came to the Ghost of Ohio. That was the only image out there, and I was in young 20s and I was experimenting with makeup still, and I'm like, I kind of want to do this look. Like, I know it looks so simple, but I don't know. It looks complex at the same time. So, literally, guys, I did this look. I don't even remember when, but I filmed the whole process. You could find it on my personal channel. And I wasn't really expecting that video to really blow up because I wasn't thinking like a lot of fans or people knew Andy Black or his comic and stuff. And so when the video came out, it just blew up. I'm like, and I was just so happy because I didn't know how many people loved it and stuff. And obviously, Chris Bierstadt commented on and shared it on his Twitter. I still have the screenshots. We won't insert it here. But when that video came out when I did it, I was just so happy because I just was not expecting it to go that big. And there it went that big. And I'm like, oh my God.
It did go big because your makeup look is what I was basing my first look off of. Because obviously, yeah, we just had the comic, you guys. And don't get me wrong, it's very easy to kind of replicate this, but I think my hardest part was the purple in the face because I mean it's drawn comic book style. And for me back then, not a makeup artist at all. I was just experimenting with makeup and I did not know at all what to do. My downfall was doing everything wrong pretty much, not knowing the color wheel or anything. I went out, it's I don't know, it's pink. I thought it was purple, so I went out and grabbed a lavender purple. Like
It's like a magenta.
it
If we
is
want
like
to
a
be
magenta.
if we want to be technical.
That's fair. Yeah, I'd say his jacket is more purple, if
Yeah.
anything. But for some reason, I was looking at it as it has to be purple. I don't know why. Probably because I considered it pink and didn't want to do pink. But I grabbed a lavender purple, which didn't show up at all. And here's the worst part. I booked a photo shoot to do this look. Never even practiced it. I was like, I'm just going to do it the day of. Ruth knows that I have a habit of doing that. I still do because I'm always afraid it's never going to turn out as good as as good as the first time. So I was like, I'll just one and done it. Mistake. It was awful, you guys. The green was awful. You can see the photos here. Terrible. Like the purple hardly shows. It was awful, but I'm really happy with getting a redemption look for it because now that I understand makeup and I understand the color wheel, I know that our cameras don't give it justice here. We took photos today, so we'll have awesome photos for you guys to look at, but hopefully from what you can see, it looks awesome.
I will say, guys, I had no idea Nicole came across, like, I think it was a photo on my Instagram account or somewhere, or Twitter, right? Where I posted it, right? Where you saw my photo of this look.
No, I saw it on Google, so I can't.
Really?
That was the thing. I was having, as I stated, it was hard to replicate the face right there, and kind of like, obviously, now that I look at this, it's just lines. And God bless Ruth for uploading a YouTube tutorial because I was overthinking the look pretty much. So I was hoping that maybe somebody else had done the look, maybe a tutorial that I'd come across. I never came across like your YouTube
Yeah, I
tutorial.
surprised her
Yeah.
later on, like this week, guys, when I sent her the link. She's like, there was a YouTube video. I'm like, I thought you knew that.
No, I was flabbergasted when you showed me that because her photo popped up on Google Images. I clicked on it and I thought, oh, yes, that's perfect. I can see all the detail in the face and everything. I can go off that. I just think it's crazy. That was actually the first time that I ever saw Ruth without knowing who she was.
No, and yeah, the first time or probably the second time when I went over to visit Nicole, she told me about that and I started laughing. And then I saw her photos, what you guys saw already of her first take, and I'm like, I see what you mean now.
Yeah, you guys, the photos were so bad that my photographer's like, I'll transform these photos into a comic style. He's like, so it looks more. I think that helped it.
I mean, still look cool and stuff, but I will say her look right now is a definitely upgrade and stuff.
The thing is, yours looked good back then, and it still looks amazing now, but I love that you upgraded with the wide eye.
Yes, I didn't have contacts back then, or at least the white contacts, and now I'm loving it. Like I said, it's muscle memory now. I didn't do much changes at all, really. So it's just funny how the world works, the universe works, right?
Yeah, literally though. And now look at us. We're like, look, we I just can't get over it. It's great. It was fate, that I
It
was
was
meant we
me.
were
Like
meant to
I
find each other.
literally had no idea and stuff.
Everyone go blow up that video. It's so good.
We
Okay,
will link it in the
question.
description if you guys want to see how young I was and how long my hair was. And yeah, yeah, my young 20s.
Anyone who obviously wants to do the look, if you need a little bit of help creating that look, watch Ruth's YouTube tutorial.
Yes, we are back here and we are ready to dive in this amazing comic book right here. All the details, the storyline, and everything. Like, honestly, it's been a minute and now I had to refresh myself when it came to this. So,
You know, one thing that I really love about comic books that I was actually just telling my husband this morning as I finished reading. A regular book, you guys, you have to go by chapters, right? Chapter one, you have to read at least maybe at max 20, 25 pages before you can get a full underlining, before you can get like a full understanding of what's happening. A comic book, you just open it up, man, and you get the whole storyline in like one page. It's
it
awesome.
it
And
may look like a lot to read at first glance, but it goes so fast, guys. It literally goes so fast.
it is a quick read, less than 30 minutes, I would say.
Honestly, so I guess let's just start off. Like as we all know, Andy Biersack was the creator of this. If you open to the second page of the comic book, it does tell us who else helped him write it: the artist, the coloring, the lettering, the design, the produce, the publisher, and the published. Yeah, yeah. So everything is in there. All the credits are in there.
When it comes to the art in the comic book, I think it's safe to say that it's all set, like the backdrop is set of an eerie landscape in Ohio, landscapes of Ohio, I
Yeah,
should
because if
say.
you read the back here, it says like there is a myth in southern Ohio about an appearance that seeks to live again. Taking place over 100 years, the ghost of Ohio follows the I can't read. This contact is making me blind.
Taking place over 100 years, the ghost of Ohio follows the titular, sorry
Yes,
if I'm reading
sure.
that wrong, titular specter as he tries to unravel the mystery of his own death and fights to return to the earthly plane. And obviously, written by Black Veil Bride's frontman Andy Biersack and tying into his second solo album of the same name, The Ghost of Ohio. It's a gothic adventure for all ages.
Let's just dive in. First things first, the characters. The main character, Ghost of Ohio, does not have a name. It's just the Ghost of
Yeah.
Ohio.
Or, yeah, The Ghost of Ohio, or if you want to do short, The Ghost.
The
I
ghost,
mean,
but yeah, he we don't get an official name of who the ghost is. We're just known as the Ghost of Ohio. There's another character, I guess you could say his love interest is Bella, which we will get into. There is, I guess you could say the villain part of when it comes to the story, which is the Order. And there is this and there is this one character, Dr. Knight. Was that it? Yes, Dr. Knight.
Going back to the name of him, even before he dies, sorry,
Nope.
everyone, spoiler alerts.
At this time, I feel like most of the army should, but if you haven't, spoiler alerts.
Yes, but like once again, there is still no name even for like the small portion we get of the story for when he's alive.
Hmm.
Still no name. Can I just say real quick, Andy, when's the second one gonna come out?
Ooh, yeah, I want to talk to you about that, but let's hold it till later. So,
My timing is always bad.
so obviously the main character is the ghost, and then we have occasionally his love interest, Bella, and then obviously the villains, Dr. Knight and the Order and stuff. And there's other side characters here and there.
Mhm.
But I guess so I will say when you start reading this, it kind of goes back and forth with time. It kind of goes back in the past when he was still
Yeah.
alive, and then with Bella, and then kind of goes back until like, okay, when he is dead and stuff, and he's like seeing all these people, and then it kind of goes forward again with time. It's always back and forward with the time.
Which I find quite fascinating because I feel we get that in like movies and TV shows, and it's really interesting to see it in a comic book.
One thing I do like about this like whole book is like when the ghost is a ghost. That's the best way I can say it. Is like when people always ask like I can see you. Why can other people see you and stuff? I feel like every superstition movie or ghost hunters or whatever have different reason, but for Andy, he stated people who can see the truth can see me. That's the ghost's reason for people to see him. So
Which is quite fascinating too, which I know is probably confusing to people who have not read this comic. It will make a lot more sense when you read the comic to figure out why only people who can truly, as you said, can see the truth can see the ghost.
the villain who unfortunately put the ghost to ghost was this lovely guy, Dr. Knight.
Hate that guy
Yeah.
so much. And it's amazing how a comic book can make you feel rage like that.
Like it was that guy who unfortunately killed the ghost. A brutal murder, I will say. I will say this comic does have a little gore, a little bit scenes here and there, but if you do remember when this promoted and stuff, it was mentioned that the eye was cut off from the ghost, which is why he has this kind of eye socket and stuff, and his helping hand was also cut off. So one of his hands was
Yeah.
also cut off.
A very torturous scene. Speaking of people that can only see the truth, there's only three people total in the comic book that can see him.
Yep. One of the stories was Sid, or aka Sydney. When we get introduced to that character, he was with his family, I believe,
Yeah.
traveling and stuff. And so the character Sydney, we meet him as a child.
I think he's the second person, yeah, who
Yeah,
can
so this is right here, Sydney right there. He's with his family traveling, and that's when the ghost appears, and that's when he tells him like, "Oh, you can see me because you can see the truth and stuff." And he kind of warns about like, "Don't go this direction to 7 Point and stuff. There are you'll get attacked and stuff." And like at first, his father wasn't believing him and stuff, and then his father's like, "Oh, okay, I kind of believe you now because I see this map suddenly appear on the ground."
And if we kind of backtrack, the very first person that can see him, which I am so sorry if I butcher this name. I'm pretty sure it's Solon. As you can see, this is the character right there.
Oh
And what
yeah, the
seems like
lady.
they're in not really it almost looks hospital-like, but I'm pretty sure it's like an asylum, if I'm
Yeah, it
not
looks like an
mistaken.
asylum. Knowing Andy with Batman, most likely an asylum.
Right. But they're the
Where
very
she,
first.
yeah.
They're the Solon is like the very first person though that can see him and that the ghost himself comes across as as the first human.
And that's where we get introduced to Dr. Knight and stuff, like in the asylum, like basically mutilizing these people's appearance and stuff.
It's almost like some AHS. I'm not gonna lie.
Pretty much. But luckily, the ghost was able to help them escape and stuff. And this is completely so off the tracks here, but I was laughing so hard when I read this. So there's a section where we're into Dr. Knight's office, and there she is. And you know what she pulls out? A fucking razor.
Oh my God, you're right. I didn't even like. I mean, I knew I saw it, but I didn't think that far.
Razor wasn't to kill him, it's just shave off his mustache, but still, I just found it so funny. Like, oh, Andy, was that an Easter egg a long time ago for players?
That's actually hilarious. It wouldn't surprise me if Andy thought that far ahead into the future.
Honestly, I was just
Batman.
laughing so hard when I saw the razor. I'm like, I told there was no connection whatsoever, but it's like Easter egg, probably incorrect, but Easter egg.
The ghost goes to all these people. And here's the weird part. The people who can see him, it's almost as if the ghost just spawns
Hmm.
right next to them, as if he's supposed to be there. It's like whoever needs him, he's there.
Hmm. And surprisingly, like after so many takes, you'd think Dr. Knight's died at one point. No, he survives. Like villains do. He survives quite a bit, I will say. I'm just like, how is this guy still alive? It looked like he got murdered. Never mind, he somehow survived.
Magic. It's the
Magic.
magic of villains.
Well, we do get a little backstory of the ghost and also Bella, where they first met. Bella was out in the streets
That's the
in the
page I'm on now.
Ohio, yeah, on Ohio, and she came across the Johnson family band, and there where their first introduction was. She saw him playing the guitar, and then they took a stroll. And again, a little backstory. Johnson family band was just a name. That's not really his true name or true family, unfortunately. So we don't get much backstory, but we get a little.
And it's kind of the same with Bella. Like they both kind of share similarities. The one thing that they both share in common is not having a family.
Not having a family. And she, from what the looks of it, she works like in a seamstress workshop with other ladies working on the
Yeah.
sewing machine and
Like a
stuff. And
sweatshop, pretty
well, so yeah,
much.
sweatshop. There you go. And unfortunately, like I think, and I could be wrong, and you can correct me, Andy or Chris. um, Unfortunately, the night where the ghost went to go and see her, not caretaker of the sweatshop or the boss, I don't know, of the sweatshop, saw him, saw her, and started whipping her to punish her. And then like the ghost like, stop, please, it's not her fault. And then unfortunately, he then called the order to come and collect him,
Take care of him.
take care of him. Yeah. So I know like within the story, like there is a
Murder are just
section where,
dangerous people.
time has passed away, Bella's growing up, and that lady who first saw the ghost goes and visits her because the ghost asked her and tells Bella, like, she says, he wants you to know it's okay what happened and it wasn't your fault. Just because he died doesn't mean you cannot live. And I think she is holding on to the past because I do truly believe that she did blame herself a lot for his death. So
Yeah, and I wish we got more
I
backstory on that
know.
too.
I want to know more backstory about these two. It's like obviously they had common grounds about having a family and stuff. And I know at one point he offered her to like run away with me, escape, don't go back to work.
I know, and I wish she took it because the Order are just like really dangerous, bad people. I mean, the thing is, there's a whole group of them, but there's obviously the one leader, which would be Dr. Knight.
Dr. Knight. I do like the artwork of how mutilated he looked like at some points after a while.
I know. I was hoping, I was like, oh my gosh, please
Yeah,
tell
here
me
you
that
go.
he
Here's like
died.
one photo of him right here. That kind he looks after he survived one thing.
I know. He looks awful. It looks like, in Hocus Pocus, in that movie when they're sucking the life out of like children, making them
Oh, okay.
old. Or
Yeah.
okay, or Beetlejuice is a good example
Dolores
when
sucking the soul out of.
See, there you go. That's kind of what it reminds me of.
We do get a little more timeline with the character Sydney, the second person who gets to see the ghost and stuff, because afterwards,
Yeah.
but years pass and Sydney is a grown up and he runs the ghost again and writes for a newspaper. He's with the Washington with Ohio Union and stuff, so he starts investigating this power plant and stuff. And then once you read on more, hello again, it's the Order, and guess who's still alive?
Dr. Knight.
Dr. Knight. That looks like Bang.
It does look like Bane with the mask and everything. And this Sydney gentleman now, who was Kid when he first met Ghost, he's always wanted to be a newsman too. So that's kind of a little bit of backstory. When he's younger, he's practicing writing for the paper because that's what he wanted to do. So it is cool that when years go by, that's exactly what he is doing.
Unfortunately, though, his time came when he went to that laboratory, which made me sad again.
Which Ghost ran into him on his way to that power plant.
Yeah. A couple weeks pass, and then we meet this kid named Cornelius in his bed, which is the third person, right? Yeah, third person the ghost has talking to, and the person who can see the ghost.
And Cornelius, unfortunately, he is a kid. Okay, Cornelius is a kid at the time when he meets Ghost, but unfortunately, Cornelius tricked Ghost the whole time to bring him straight to the Order.
Betrayed him. I think the main reason what lingered the ghost to this Cornelius kid is because of Bella. Like he couldn't find Bella or anything else. He's like, oh, I know where she's at and stuff. I'm gonna lure him to this place where supposedly Bella's at. But nope, it's just the Order.
Yeah, because I think the ghost kind of confides in Cornelius, letting him know about this woman he's seeking out. And then that's when he's like, I know exactly who you're talking about. And then, yep, leads him straight to the Order, which unfortunately, yeah, the Order ends up, they have like this little box that they're able to, because I guess the ghost is considered a spectra. And they were able to like suck him into this container where he would be trapped forever.
Which he was actually and then he threw the container or whatever traption into the lake. And after several years, everything passed and everything. And then, his spirit, the ghost spirit, is somewhat there, but it's very weak.
Extremely weak, which is where we get into more years that go by. We run into this kid named Owen, who, Ruth, I real quick have to say, does that Owen kid look strangely like Andy to you?
Gee, I wonder what the inspiration was. Like, Point 7 High School has a dress code. We do not wear black here, but I like black. It's for your own safety. It's for your all safety. Go change. You will be suspended until you follow the rules. Oh, I wonder where that inspiration came from.
I know, right? Makes you wonder. When I read that, I thought, holy crap. It was pretty cool how Andy's kind of throwing in a little bit of more backstory of his own backstory.
Right. And then eventually the kid Owen goes to the area where the ghost's weak spirit's at. And then Owen can see the ghost, and the ghost gets super excited and asks Owen, like, hey, I need your help. There's this thing in the lake and stuff. I need you to bring it up and break it for me. And it's like, Owen's like, sure, I like breaking things.
I know. Owen definitely, obviously, that outsider. But yeah, he helps Ghost.
Ghost realizes how much time has passed away and stuff. He's like, everyone I love is dead. Everyone who was a villain of mine is dead too. So he's just like unsure what to do right now until he sees sirens near the lake he was located and sees the Order symbol, which is like a ram head.
And not only that, but one villain still remains, who is Cornelius, who is now a much, much older adult. Who, Cornelius also strangely looks like Dr. Knight. I'm just saying.
But yes, Cornelius is now in charge of the Order and stuff. He's a grown up and everything, but the ghost finds him, and basically the ghost gets revenge on him pretty good.
Oh, yeah. It's safe to say Cornelius no more at the end of this comic book.
Then the ghost has seen that there is a building that's specifically to the Order, which looks like this because it has the symbol.
It's kind of cool. It's almost like we get Attack on Titan here. Like the ghost himself just kind of grows into this huge.
He gets in this, spirit
it's
battle.
Almost like spirit battle. Yeah, it's almost like he turns into like a gigantic genie and everything, and he kind of starts torching the building.
There's a hole because the if we look further before he turns into this massive like ghost spirit, evil spirit, like there's like an order table right there and the order
Yeah.
is talking and stuff. And that's when the ghost finds out, and then that's when he starts transforming into this big spirit that just destroys that whole order building. Like it's pretty gruesome. He gets
Yeah.
pretty tall and stuff, and the changing of his body.
I can't lie, I think it's just all that built up anger and hatred that was able to transform him into this whole other, I mean, I can't say other being, but it's like if you guys seen Aladdin and the genie gets really huge, that's, or what was it, Jafar? He's the genie that gets really huge. It's almost like it's exactly like that scene.
Basically, how it ends is how it kind of started.
I
Because at the end, the ghost finds Bella's grave and says, I'm sorry I couldn't help you. And I feel like if I never came along, your life would have been better. And then he sheds a tear and a tear drops on Bella's stone grave. And then that's the end. Because in the beginning, when the ghost was dying, Bella was holding him in his hands and she also cried, and which activated his whole ghost spirit.
It's one of those things too, because I'm not, for the longest time, I always felt as if it were a cliffhanger. Even though it's weird, it's like a cliffhanger, but at the same time, it ties up the end with exactly how Ruth said it started. And I'm just like, so do we not get second now? We don't get Ghost of Ohio 2.
Apparently, as of right now, there is no news unless we've been living under a rock. Has anyone else? I don't know. But as for part two, like I kind of understand where Nicole's coming from. Like we want more information and stuff. Honestly, I would love more backstory of Bella and the ghosts and stuff, and like how the ghost came about and stuff, what happened to his family and everything and stuff and so forth. But at the same time, I feel like I think this was a good story for just plain and simple. It kind of showed us what happened and came across about the ghosts and the order and stuff. So it's hard to say. Like, I'm not against a sequel, but I'm also like, I don't think it needs a sequel.
That's the thing that I'm kind of stuck on too. I think it's one of those, obviously, I want a sequel just to have a sequel, but realistically, it summed up pretty much everything. And something actually really cool that I'm not sure if Ruth knows this or not. What makes this comic book even more interesting and unique in its own way is Ohio is actually the third state in America that is the most haunted, and Ohio actually has the most haunted attractions out of all 50 states. It has 133 haunted attractions in Ohio alone. No other state has 133 or more than that. Ohio is like spook city, man. Well, I say city, but spook state pretty much. So
Yeah, I
I
have no
think
idea.
that's what kind of drives this comic book to be even more insane than what it already is
Right.
knowing that fact. And the fact that the art, as I said, the art itself, the artwork really, really completes the haunting tone of the story.
No, the artist Eric Donovan. Is
Yeah,
that
Eric Donovan.
Eric Donovan? He's amazing. I loved his work. And actually, when I did the second time of the Ghost of Ohio for Halloween, I tagged him and he liked it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and also more information about this comic book. If anyone was able, when AP was still doing covers with Andy and Blackville Bright, Andy did a cover with AP. There was a whole bundle. I got the bundle. Hello, beautiful, gorgeous. But if you look and read that, there is a section where he does talk about the Ghost of Ohio. So it says here, around the mid 2018, Biersack was thinking about creating a comic book character. This idea hasn't really taken hold in his head too much. He had drawings of the Ghost of Ohio wearing an eye patch, shoveling out in the rain, and then wrote a prologue, which was later released online. Fans knew about the singer's often discussion pendant for all things Batman. Yep. But he wasn't a massive comic enthusiast. I believe like Andy does not was very intimidated by all the people in the comic book store. He confessed they weren't very nice. I didn't know much as they did. I liked Batman, which was always my mainstream character, but I was always put off by asking for Batman things, and they would laugh because it wasn't some unknownly comic thing. I felt my interest in comics was actually greater than my whole collection. So yeah. He goes on to like the company Z2 Comics, there we go, reached out to Beersack's team to see if he will be down for a collaboration. And I said, wow, I actually have this whole idea. I had a phone call with everyone at Z2 and said, here's the thing, I'm going to send over everything I have done. Then let's talk And let's start talking story. I got on the phone with the editor, Scott Tuff. I think so. That was one of the writers. Scott Tuff, who was a co-writer of the book. He had ideas too, and so it came down to Scott writing all of our ideas into a comic book format script. The art comes in every day from Eric, the artist, and I approved of it or changed whatever. So that was kind of like the startup of the comic and the whole idea with his team. There was more here.
I'm just really glad that, Andy had people that supported his vision and was able to bring it to life.
Okay, so I love this part in this article, in this interview he did with AP. So he said, though the prism of the character, Biersack is hoping to inspire some kindness and forward motion. Not all of us can be popular metal bands whose music has inspired some people to take hold of their lives away from the living that haunts them, but we have the capacity to be better humans. This was the quoted by Andy. I would hope that everyone who would read something that is about being kind and ethical to one another would be inspired by that in a positive way. We certainly see enough of the opposite on a daily basis. It would be my hope, and regardless of someone political or religious believes, the idea of being good and kind is always better. I hope to inspire people in a positive way. Otherwise, there's not much use in doing anything.
No, yeah, and I completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Andy is stated it before, and I'll state it again, but he is truly the embodiment of what a rock star should be.
Mm-hmm.
He shows so much kindness and he shows so much heart. And I feel, obviously he's inspired me growing up. He's inspired you growing up, and he continues to inspire. So.
And one cool thing about this magazine is one section, they have early doodles of Andy with the whole Ghost of Ohio for early stages.
I love when Andy releases this kind of stuff.
I don't know how well you can see it.
No, it's perfect.
All the fun doodles he had for the ghosts and covers and stuff. On the corner, it says here, the evolution of the Ghost of Ohio. So number one, which we will insert photos here. Biersack is original first drawing of the character. Number two, Photoshop prototype of the character's cover/look. Number three, ghost artist Eric prototype panel sketches. Number four, Donovan's initial ghost rendering. So it's really cool just to see kind of like all the doodles from Andy and the artist Eric and stuff for how this book came to life and stuff.
I am really happy with the cover that they chose for the comic. Mine is half signed by Andy. Mine got smeared a lot.
I'm lucky you got signed. I was in my second year of teaching, and I remember it got released, and I just couldn't afford to get the signed one and stuff. And I know we'll talk about it later on in another episode, the Ghost of Ohio tour, and obviously the album. But for the tour, I really wanted to put this look on to show him so badly and stuff because without knowing you yet, I didn't see anyone fans posting this look or anything. But just due to life, I couldn't do the makeup, and I was so upset. Like I really wanted to bring this for VIP and stuff, dressed up like this, and have him sign it, but like it never happened. And I'm still wondering if maybe Andy even saw those photos when I first found them, because like deep inside of my fan heart, I'm like, I really hope he sees us. I really hope he sees these. And like I know Chris, you saw them and gave me your applause, but I'm here like, did Andy see them?
That's the thing. Even if I feel like he would have. And if not, I feel like Chris would have shown him. I feel like Chris is really good about sharing things with Andy that fans may not know whether he's seen or not. And I was like, Andy needs to redo the Ghost of Ohio so I can go like this.
I feel you. I'm there with you. Let's do it. Let's just book it at Red Rocks and show and just perform all the songs and stuff.
And that would be so great. That'd be so great.
BVB Army. For today's fan shout out actually goes to an awesome international fan. I cannot wait to give you a shout out. Aysha, I believe it is. I do apologize for it is, but she's an international fan that actually did reach out to me and stuff, and she was so sweet, honestly, Nicole. She has made custom Andy Biersack bows, and you probably may have seen them on Twitter, but she made one for both of us, and this is what they look like.
Oh, what? That is so cute. Oh my God, I'm probably so loud in the microphone. I was like,
no, you're good. You're good.
I was like right up in there. But that is so cute. Like, one's for me and you?
Yeah, I'm wearing mine right now, right here.
Oh my
So she not
God,
only made this
Aisha.
for us, she also gave us some other Blackfoot Brides wristbands and stuff too. And she wrote us a lovely letter right here. It says to the BVB Army Hearts to Hearts. Thank you for being so welcoming and kind to everyone. You are such an inspiration to so many of us, especially me. I became a part of the BVB Army just 2 years ago, and I've lived never any differently. All I have felt when following you guys is pure kindness, love, and inspiration. I know this is something so small I could never owe you for anything you done. And anyways, I hope you like them. Thank you, Ruth and Nicole, for the endless inspiration, especially art. I gained so many confidence in showing my love for BBB because of you guys. Aisha, BBB Army forever.
Oh my God. Okay, Aisha, literally love you. And I'm really glad that it warms my heart to know that fans, whether you were feeling a little bit like shy or embarrassed about loving BBB, not saying that Aisha did, but I love how more fans are really willing to express their love for Black Veil Brides, especially in person and online, despite the hate or the bullying that you get. Like, never stop supporting the things that you love and never stop loving something that you love just because someone makes fun of you for it. They're just jealous.
She was so sweet. So again, thank you for the bows. I will be sending this to Nicole with her other birthday stuff here soon and stuff. So thank you again, and also for the wristbands and this cute little phone. I don't know if this is your cat or just a cat in general, but that's a cat with a Batman head on it.
Oh my God. That's cute.
And then she went all out because the packaging, I think she got her sticker logo on put on to our package.
God, I want a sticker logo.
Again, thank you so much for the bows. We absolutely love them. They are so freaking cute. If you can make one of Cece, I will pay you for that.
It is so adorable. Wait, did she have an Etsy account?
As far as I know, she does not have an Etsy account. I've only seen her Twitter and Instagram, but I don't think she does. I could be wrong, but if she does, I will put it in the link below. I will also put her Instagram account there. I would highly recommend following her because she does a lot of creative crafts and artsy things that are kind of fun to look at. But honestly, this is honestly the most sweetest thing I have ever received from a fan. I mean, honestly, thank you for the hair bows. It's gonna go into my collection.
They're so unique and cute. I love it.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. So all the fan shout out goes to you and all the love goes to you.
Yes. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, wait, wrong side. Bum, 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 bum. Right. All right, BBB Army, that officially wraps up today's episode with us discussing the Ghost of Ohio comic book. Once again, if you do not have this comic, you need it in your life. Whether you're a comic nerd or you're into horror or mystery or you just love that kind of artwork or Blackfoot Brides or Andy, you need this. You need this in your life. We promise. It's a very fun read. It's a quick read, but it's definitely worth it. I promise you, it's so worth it. It's a thrilling read. Go and get yourself a copy right now.
Also, before we wrap it up, thank you to all the fans who have entered our giveaway if you have not seen that. So please, if you have not seen our recent video that we surprised everyone last Friday, go watch it. We are having a giveaway for the one and only Bleeders Collection makeup from Kurt's Cosmetics. So if you have no idea what we're talking about, go to that video. I would highly recommend watching it.
Highly recommend watching and highly recommend entering. Please hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. And we are also on all streaming platforms. You can literally check the podcast out anywhere. You can go ahead and give us a follow on Twitter/X, Instagram, and TikTok. We are in spooky months, so wait till you guys see what we have in store next week for makeup looks.
Next week and the week after.
And the week after that, because there's 5 weeks in October.
And Nicole's birthday's coming up, guys!
I'm gonna be 30, flirty, and thriving.
All right. See you guys next week.